استراحة الآن.
Oh no, I'm invisible. Whoopsies, sorry guys. Well, never mind. Because there is something more important than me that you need to see. And that is, while we get this all working in the background, the dice rolls. Okay, sorry about that. I just completely forgot one of the steps of my startup. There we go. So, it's out of 6 today. Today's match is definitely going to be on Caucasus. So, 3, 2, 1... And we have map number 5, which is Overcast Afternoon with Rain, Tbilisi versus Sukhumi. And the members of FGAS have picked heads, which is number 1 on the dice roll. So 3, 2, 1, and it looks like FGAS have rolled heads. So they will pick the winning dice roll. Let me change the map and get everything ready. So mission, and we want this one here. I'm so organized today. Perfect. How are you guys all going? Welcome in. I know we've got supporters of FGAS, the Fleet Girl Air Superiority, and Harpia from Brazil. In fact, I have some information here. Let me see. Harpia is a team that seeks to promote and integrate DCS multiplayer community within Brazil, as well as to disclose the capabilities of Brazilian players in the international DCS community. We always look for bonding with national and international teams so we can unite and integrate even more of the DCS player base. Our livery pays homage to our World War II war heroes and our nation's aviation history. That's why we have Senta Apua on it, as it was their war cry, which translates to hit them hard. All right. What an excellent little bit of backstory. Excellent, excellent, excellent. We have this stream going out live to a number of different countries, including China, and I believe we may even have some Russian coverage as well. So there will be plenty of viewers from all over the world watching these Awesome! Alright, guys. So you're familiar with the map. Who's here to cheer on our Brazilian friends? Everything's looking good, everything's feeling good. Let's have a look at the weather. And it is 17:06 in the evening, so it is late afternoon. And spotty, overcast rain clouds with showers, plus a little bit of these rainy terrain over here. And a little bit of volumetric fog in amongst the valleys. Senta Apua, you have to make sure I say that right. And while everyone's getting ready, I will chuck up a poll so you guys can let me know who you're here to support. Alright, for round one, do you support Harpia or FGAS? I'll let that poll run for 10 minutes so everyone can let us know how you're feeling today. Not only that, but we've got a bit of a treat today. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, our little beloved aeroplane that we don't get to see as often as we might like. The JF-17 Thunder making an appearance for FGAS today. So on the blue team, so far, we have Scharnhorst, Missouri, Udachi, and Oyodo. And it looks like a pair of the JF-17 Thunders are getting their engines switched on for the blue team. Fleet Girl Air Superiority, bringing an eclectic mix of aircraft. Meanwhile, on the red team, we have Newt, Red, Trigger, Wolf, Overg, and Gurky. And let's have a look at that livery that they were talking about. Let's see if we can see the battle cry. Ha ha ha! I want you guys to put a 1 in chat if you are from Brazil, or if you're here to support your Brazilian superstars. Look at all of this experience. Absolutely gorgeous liveries, and a gorgeous day to show them off too. So it looks like it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 F-18s, and it looks like just one F-16 to balance it all out. Oh, very good to see some local support for the Brazilian heroes. Santa Rua, go Harpia. But of course, I hope you guys are giving a chance for Fleet Girl air superiority as well. I had a chance to talk with some of their members. They're a group of gamers that have actually managed to gather themselves around their love of Ship Girl games. So, Azulane and particularly, I'm told, Kantai Collection, Cancole. And it just so happened that this group of friends with a mutual adoration of Ship Girls has decided to band together and fly for us in SATAC today. They have some members from, I believe, Southeast Asia, Japan, and even one or two that are currently living in the US of A. So the Brazilians face off against the international Fleet Girl supporters. Any of you guys Fleet Girl supporters? I know that we had a CarrierCon recently, an event that I would like to go to one day. It's nice to see operations like the museum ships and things like that actively engaging with their more quirky fans, I would say. Overg leading the way, then Newt, Red, Trigger, Wolf, and Gurkey. On the blue team, Gearing, Oyodo, Scharnhorst, Missouri are spawned in. I think they're just figuring out what to do with the rest of their gamers. Here we see something that we haven't seen in the competition so far this year, at least not on my streams, the jamming pod for the JF-17. I used to think that the jamming pod carried extra countermeasures for the JF-17, but I don't think that's true. I'm trying to remember which jamming pod actually gives you extra countermeasures. I think it might be the MiG-21, but I might just be making that up. So, Oyodo leads the way, then Missouri and Scharnhorst following along behind with Gearing, the last one in line. No extra countermeasures? No, I didn't think so, but I don't know where I picked up that bit of information. Looks like we have Enterprise and Udachi joining the server now. Let me get the SRS window out of the way. How much would this mission cost the taxpayer? Oh, that's okay. We've got sponsors. You can see them down at the bottom of the screen. And fortunately, all I have to do is give a quick phone call to our friends over at NATO, and they'll let me borrow some of their Boeing E-3 Sentries, if I ask politely. Of course, it's only for the group stages when we get the E3 Sentries. Once it gets to the finals, when they require a GCI, it switches over to the A50s that do not provide data link. Where are from the Fleet Girls team? All over the world. Some from China, some from Japan, some from the US. So a little bit of everything. And looking neat and lined up, Overg, Newt, Trigger, Red, Gurkey, and Wolf are all in their liveries and looking fantastic. I don't know what it is about countries like Brazil, but it feels like every time I do a match that has a country like Brazil or Argentina, South America in particular. You guys love supporting your home teams. Their fans will always come and cheer them on. So I guess if you're looking for a real fan base within the combat flight simulation crowd, you need to get yourself a South American team. Okay, Harpier is reporting ready. But I think that FGAS is still just getting along. Step 1, become South American. Why is everyone from South America so attractive? I feel like it's a conspiracy theory or something. So, the first of the JF-17s, taking its rightful place among FGAS. Seems like a lot of missiles on those F-18s. Well, let's go have a look at them. Make sure everyone's following the rules. I have no doubt they are. So, who knows the SATAC rules? It's a maximum of 4 AMRAAMs, that's 4 AIM-120s, and no AIM-9Xs. So, let's see. In the front row, we have 4 AIM-120s, 2 Sparrows, 2 Winders, 4 AIM-120s, 2 Winders, 4 AIM-120s, 2 Sparrows, 2 Winders. Same loadout on all of the F-18s, it looks like. Here we go. Someone's bringing my loadout, the loadout that I would bring if I was competing in an F-18, which is I would bring extra Sparrows on the wing pylons like this. You can bring as many Sparrows as you like. And it looks like Harpier are the favourites for the first round. I'm not surprised with all of their supporters. And then one of the F-18s is also bringing the extra fuel bags, as opposed to the extra Sparrows. It's a bit of a toss-up. Would you prefer 2 extra missiles, or would you prefer 2 extra fuel tanks? Looks like Enterprise is getting moving now. We just need Udachi to get a wriggle on, and then we'll be good to go. They had the option to use both runways if they want, but it doesn't look like they're going to do that. They're just happy to stick with the ones they have. The JF-17 Thunder is an aircraft that's not necessarily known for carrying a huge amount of fuel. It does make up for not carrying a huge amount of fuel by being quite fuel efficient, along with a couple of added benefits that you may be able to see on the right-hand side of the aircraft just behind the intake as well. A missile warning system, which is not present on all of the jets that we have here at the moment, means that not only will they have their radar warning receivers giving them a warning about incoming missiles, the missile warning system will also detect smoke plumes and heat emissions correlating to missile launches, and hopefully provide some advanced warning against any potentially incoming weapons. And Udachi in the F-16. Every year I ask the SATAC organisers if they'll add some kind of little car or something that I can use combined arms to drive around, and every year they say that's a stupid idea and they're never going to let me do it. But I still think that they should let me have a camera truck. So if anyone wants to start a petition with the organisers of SATAC to give me access to combined arms vehicles so I can drive around on the runway and inevitably accidentally crash into a competitor and as a result delay a match. And here they are, lined up and ready. This is always a tricky camera shot to get right, but I might be able to do it. Oh, and my chat crashed. Okay, I was like, boy, you guys sure are quiet. Is that the hippie loadout of 2 bags? I don't know. Name of Harpier. I wish good luck and a great fight. FGAS. Aeroplanes on a Sunday. Is it 360 all around or same plane below? The missile warning system has blind spots. I think there's a blind spot right on the bottom. But it's mostly 360 otherwise. You know a guy that could sneak one in the mission files? That would be good. No, not a linebacker or something. Something horrible like a technical or a car. Okie dokie. Both teams ready. Udachi gives me a poi. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go, go, go. And there we have it. Round 1 begins with FGAS facing off against Harpier. The international shipgirl enthusiasts face off against the Brazilian nationals, carrying along with them the hopes and dreams of their home country and seeking to promote DCS and its competitive environment throughout South America and the world. As the first JF-17 Thunder takes off for FGAS, with Gearing and Scharnhorst following along behind. Newt and Overg take off in good order, Trigger and Red following along. You hear the characteristic scream of those Hornet engines as they get them off the ground. Looking spectacular in the sky. I have some more information from Derby, from HRP. On the Hornet's tank, it's written UFO, flying saucer, because it behaves like one. I see, I see. We're getting a little bit of a story behind the paint job. Poi! Any supporters here for FGAS? Can I get a poi in chat? As we see the last members of HRP take off. Keep hearing Avgas. That's alright. It's because of my accent. And we have everyone up in the sky now. Udachi and Oyodo are leading the rear vanguard as they take off from Tbilisi Lucchini. It's the classic matchup. The kind of fighting environment that if you've ever spent any time on Growling Sidewinder, you'll be desperately familiar with. Harpier, take my energy. I'm sure Harpier appreciates their support. So it looks like it's 2 groups of 3 for FGAS. Both groups being led by a JF-17. As you see the loose battle formation, of course, with the JF-17 Thunder reusing the same engines that are used in certain models of the MiG-29, it does mean that it puts out about as much smoke as a poorly tuned turbo diesel. So, for the JF-17 Thunder pilots, today's flight will not be non-smoking. Over G up at 30,000 feet, trigger at 36,000 feet, and climbing. These nasty Hornets going to be right at home in this kind of battle space when you've got a little bit of cloud cover to work with, but not so much that you can't get close to the ground. The F-18 is your multi-role fighter of choice. McDonnell Douglas F-18. Always worth a look. So we have the two groups heading out, one led by Enterprise, one led by Gearing, possibly taking advantage of the quite capable jamming capabilities of the JF-17 Thunder from down under, and hopefully using that to disguise their intentions. No shipgirls and plane liveries, not just yet, but I have given them some advice that if they find some cute shipgirl liveries that they want to use just on the user files section of DCS, they can send those over to me and I'm happy to install those too. Looks like Newt, Gurkey and Red are taking the northern route, and Trigger, Overg and Wolf are heading down the south. They've climbed much higher than their opponents over at FGAS. Comfortably sitting at 39,000 feet, nearly 40. Which will definitely be a good point of contact. Overg is just about to enter the circle now. 123 nautical miles, 121 nautical miles between them and their groups. As we see them pass underneath their AWACS jet, you can see the deadly contrails of the FGAS planes pass beneath that spinning pizza plate. Gorgeously bathed in the early morning sky. Hopefully FGAS accelerates into the circle now. If they leave it unoccupied for a few minutes, they will be in trouble. If only there was a livery maker taking commissions. Are you taking commissions at the moment, Hex? Because I got $3. Okay, the time has come to commit. FGAS has to enter that circle, or else they risk giving up too much ground for HRP. Overg at 42,000 feet, burning at max speed. That fuel tank having had come off the belly now. Hopefully FGAS hasn't given up too much of the initiative here. Enterprise is going to enter the circle first, it looks like. 23,000 feet in the JF-17. And FGAS enters the circle. Overg is now only 82 nautical miles away from Enterprise, and Red is only 82 away from Gearing. So, a lot of altitude to work with for HRP. Their lone F-16 is up in the northern side, and I have it on good authority that this is Roughly translated to Lightning McQueen. Does the Jeff offer any advantage? Some advantages, some big ones, some small ones. The JF-17 doesn't carry a huge amount of fuel, but at high altitude it's very fuel efficient. Carries the SD-10, which is a missile that has a fairly good profile. Especially if you can keep it up into the thicker air. The radar's good quality. It has a missile warning system. The jamming pod's quite good on it. So it's like an F-16 with a couple of quirks. The downsides, fuel quantity can be an issue, but not always. And this gun, actually, which I believe is just a GSH-23, like they use on everything, is abysmal. And I don't think we'll be seeing the JF-17s going for any guns kills. Now, we see the first missile come off from Red. He's at 43,000 feet. He's dropping down a little bit now. And delivering the first AIM-120 of the match as it proceeds up to 60,000 feet and begins its downward journey towards the northern group. Overg has launched towards Enterprise as well. Looks like it's 44 nautical miles for Overg's shot. And Red's shot is got about 40 nautical miles to cover. Hopefully gearing, which this missile is definitely going for gearing, will go defensive here. Smells a little bit like the missile might have gone active now. So gearing should certainly know that there's something going on and start defending. Not afterburning. Not feeling a huge sense of urgency here, I think. Hopefully that's not a mistake as the missile drops below 47,000 feet. That missile warning system and radar warning receiver is probably screaming now. This missile's still traveling at 1,400 knots. Is it going to be enough? It's still got speed. It's still got speed, but it's losing it. And I think he's gotten away with it. Enterprise is going to have to contend with their missile as well. But excellently defended there by the members of FGAS. That missile beaten out without having to ditch too much altitude. Good moves, gearing. What about you, Enterprise? Your own missile's coming in now. It's only traveling at 800 knots, so it's not the fastest thing in the world, but it does have altitude. So you can't afford to get complacent and let it fly into you. Meanwhile, Gearing's missile is all but trashed. Oyodo now turning towards Overg. The Brazilians having had fired 2 missiles so far to no effect. Scharnhorst and Missouri taking up the attack now. 2 F-16s for FGAS. Meanwhile, Gurkey, Trigger, and Wolf are now on the offensive, looking to launch some of their first missiles of the match. JF-17, computer lady. Missile. 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 Tracking. Thank you for the 200 bits, Juggler. Much appreciated. Scharnhorst is pushing hard here. No shots from Gurkey or Wolf just yet. In fact, if anything, Gurkey is ditching altitude here. Not willing to shoot off a missile just yet. What about Scharnhorst? Minimi, these are the Fleet Girl Air Supremacy team, as we see Scharnhorst fire a missile. So I have no doubt that it's probably one of the ship ladies from Kantai Collection. This missile comes out red hot from Scharnhorst towards Gurkey, has 15 nautical miles to travel, but Gurkey was expecting that and has gone cold. I mean, if Decker Ironworks wants me to voice something, I'll voice something. If Pete Blur came up to me and said, "Hey, we're willing to record your lines for Jester," I'll do it. I'll do Jester lines for free. Okay, the first of the SD-10s. Looks like this one's going for Trigger. It is at 30,000 feet and traveling at 1,200 knots, so that's actually going to be a tricky one to get away from. Hopefully Trigger's plan here. As we hear the rumbling engines of Trigger getting away from that one. Scharnhorst and Missouri now sending missiles for Red and Wolf to think about. Red, we've got to make sure they don't accidentally fly straight into this one. Red's going to have to outmaneuver this one. The window to turn cold is closing, but Red is already out of there. Not having to contend with that missile. Plenty of missiles fired, no impacts just yet. It is still 6v6, as Newt looks like they're going in for a push. Man, the CO's gonna bust their balls for this one. So tell me, we going down into waterfowl territory today? You're too fast, man. Newt not willing to let loose a missile just yet. Not particularly high PKs just yet. Plenty of 120s in the sky to think about, but both teams feeling each other out here and playing at curiosity. Playing to figure out one another. Udachi with a 12 nautical mile shot towards Overg, who's at 10,000 feet. And Oyado is continuing the push and following it up with a second 120. Overg is going to have to defend against this, and is certainly doing so, and hard. You've never seen so many Hornets. Just you wait until you knock down that strange-looking thing that's on a tree in your backyard. You'll just realize how many Hornets there are. Gurkey defending against 120. I'll tell you what though, these HRP guys, they know exactly when to turn cold against a missile. They are defending excellently here. Oyado and Udachi's missiles having no effect on Overg. Enterprise launching towards Wolf, but Wolf is notching the missile right as it comes off the rails. Though we do have to contend with Wolf and Oyado only being 7 nautical miles from each other. Oyado briefly pops up, launches a missile, and manages to catch Wolf, who is now turning cold against 2 missiles, and is going to want to defend as hard as they can. And it looks like Wolf has managed to trick one of the missiles into the dirt, as Trigger begins to push towards Udachi and Oyado. Notices the missile launch and goes defensive. No dramas getting away from that one so far, I think. 6v6 still, with Wolf and Trigger passing by each other. Still plenty of missiles left to launch for both sides, though I would say that the members of FGAS have potentially spent more than their Brazilian opponents. AIM-120 comes off the rails, does not have far to go, but the ship girl Enjoyer is conveniently already cold against it and is getting away from it neatly. Missouri with a good defense. Overg pushing out towards Udachi. As the missile comes off the wings and instantly going into the defensive, already inverted when the missile fires. You see, I would do this and I'd misjudge how much space I had below me and accidentally hit the ground. Hopefully Udachi has enough time to get away from this one. Looks like it's going to have to be trashed in the mountains. And nicely evaded straight into the trees. Kaboom. Another 120. This one heading towards red, but I bet red is going straight down and cold, and he is. An absolute masterclass on missile defense being put on by HRP today. Oyado and Trigger only 8 nautical miles away from each other. Newt fires a 120 to get them to think about something. Trigger here, just happy to drop down to the altitude, knowing that missile's not going for him. Oyado is going to have to defend against the 125 in response. Let's see what Gearing manages to get done. Still has 3 SD-10s and is climbing up to altitude here. Manages to launch one off the whales. And it looks like this one is crossing the path down to Trigger. Has Trigger been caught out of position here? Let's hope not. As that SD-10 gets terribly close, but gets slashed into the terrain. Udachi fires yet another missile at Wolf, who has successfully gotten all of them fired so far to introduce themselves to the terrain, and it looks like this one will be no different. No hits, but Missouri pushing up quite hard now, only 6 nautical miles away from red. That missile's going to have a high probability of kill. And it looks like Udachi from FGAS managed to take out Wolf with an AIM-120. That missile managed to reacquire and take out Wolf, who was crawling down in the weeds. The first loss as HRP lose one of their members. Overg fires an 8 nautical mile shot towards Enterprise in the JF-17, who fires one back. These missiles crisscross in the air. The SD-10 towards Overg goes straight into the terrain. Question is, can they get away from this one? It looks like the AIM-120 has got the calculations wrong. Overg is going to have to defend against this missile that's coming in now. Has it got tracked? Overg gets impacted by an SD-10. It's now a 4v5 in favor of FGAS. And in fact, in the northern group, Gurke got splashed by a 120 as well. FGAS managing to put on a tremendous show here. However, one of the members of FGAS, I think, getting hit by Overg. In fact, that may have been a CFIT. An AIM-120 from Missouri heading out towards Trigger. This one goes straight into a residential area. Udachi and Gearing both with 1 missile each, having to contend with some serious incoming ordnance. Have they misjudged their distances? Doesn't look like it. As they get away with this one just by centimeters. Red now firing towards Oyado and Missouri. Missiles coming off the wings in all directions. Fires one at close range at the defensive F-16 from FGAS. It's all happening quickly now. Does Oyado have what it takes to get away from this 120? Certainly does. It does not meet its mark. And Missouri manages to get away from the one fight in response. Newt is chasing down an FGAS member. Fires 120 straight off the rails. Missiles still firing. As you see this F-18 desperately try and weave its way through the terrain. Looks like it's no bingo on the missile on Udachi. Actually, no. Udachi might not get away with it. Udachi does get away with it, unbelievably. But in return, HRP loses their F-18 against 3 members of FGAS, and it's down to Trigger and Red. Red fires an AIM-7 at Oyado, but turns cold very quickly. Actually, does this... The Sparrow connects with Oyado and actually manages to take him down. A Sparrow kill by Red, who now has Missouri over his left shoulder. Hopefully knows he's there. The F-16 is turning in hot. Has got his eyes right on him, but there's a missile going out straight for him and a missile fired in return. The F-16 has no hope of getting away, but what about the missile fired in response? It deals its damage as well, meaning that Trigger is all they have left against Enterprise and Udachi. He's burning teammates all throughout the sky here. Spots Enterprise, a day of 17, who is countermeasuring with all he's got, but the AIM-120 does find its mark and takes out the PL-5 that was coming off the wings. Udachi, now the last one left to deal with Trigger, and it's straight off his nose. He can see him. Launches a 120. Trigger going to have to defeat this one the old-fashioned way. And no dice. Trigger gets taken out. And Udachi is the last survivor. So long as they can get away from this missile. And it looks like they have. By the skin of their teeth. We'll make sure all the planes are down. They are. Udachi is the only one left. Command RTB. And hopefully Udachi has enough plane juice to make it back. If so, it may be the case that Fleet Girl Air Superiority has managed to secure the first round, but only once Udachi can make it home and safe. Tremendous fighting by all involved. Now let's make sure we see what we missed. Okay, the first one we missed was the downing of, I believe, Newt in the Northern Group. No, in fact, it wasn't Newt. It was it Gurky or Red, the first one to go down? I think it was Gurky. Okay, so Gurky up here in the Northern Group. Missouri here, defending hard against Gurky. Who is it that actually gets the shot off against Gurky here? I think it might have been Scharnhorst. In fact, Scharnhorst in the perfect position to mutually support Missouri here. I know that Fleet Girl Air Superiority is a group of people who found each other through mutual love of boat-based gacha games, but they are flying like a well-oiled team. And why am I on the screen? Sorry, guys, I didn't realize I was huge. I'm in the way. So I'll show you that missile shot again here. I didn't realize that I was up on screen. I'm not supposed to be up on that screen. And there we have it. So Gurky, the first one to go down. The worst part about noticing that you've made a mistake, like accidentally leaving yourself up on the screen, is that there's the stream delay, so you have to wait ages before you can see it. So, for those of you who are blocked by my enormous ass, Gurky getting caught out of position here, chasing down Missouri, as Scharnhorst is in just the right position to get a 120 shot off, and that one was easily within 8 nautical miles, more like 5. A good attempt at notching, but no luck, unfortunately. I mean, have a look at these missile defenses. These guys are defending missiles like veterans. Oyodo here, really lucky to get away from this one as well. Okay, just have to make a note here. I'll have to get a second opinion on those rolls, just to make sure that they're not doing anything they shouldn't be. So, Overg here was the next one to go down. Defending hard. Gearing managing to get an SD10 off, though. This is one of the things that I find the SD10s to be better at than AIM 120s. I get the feeling that SD10s are a little bit better at the close-up fight when they're down low in the weeds like this, you know? I'm just going to get Odachi's roles in the first round checked out by an organizer after the event. I've made a note of it. I need professional attitudes. HRP Newt managing to get really good shots against Udachi and Gearing here. A really good dual target track shot here. It's almost a shame that these missiles didn't impact because they were really well shot. But Gearing and Udachi managing to turn ice cold against them, and neither one of them managing to find a track. Getting really lucky there. Well, I guess luck has nothing to do with it. Newt commits into the fight down low here. Once again managing to almost splash Udachi. SD10s have a longer no-escape zone, but lower max range. Can you describe why a round would be illegal? Oh, there are just rules within SATAC regarding the frequency with which you can roll your aircraft certain numbers of degrees, because if you roll your aircraft in a certain way, it can impact the synchronization between missiles and all that sort of thing. And cause missiles to lose track. So Newt does a valiant effort here. And then Red gets caught out of position here, but actually Red managing to get an amazing AIM 7 shot here. Anytime I see a Sparrow get used, I'm always happy. And Red manages to get a spectacular Sparrow shot here. No amount of countermeasures is going to save you, a Yodo. And then it's all she wrote as Trigger faces off here and gets very unlucky by not managing to notch Udachi's missile here. I thought he almost would have gotten it. If he had some chaff, maybe he might have gotten away with it, but no dice. Looking good. So now we join Udachi on the journey back home. Let me say thank you to a few couple of people. Not the least of which is Special K and his DCS server bot. Invaluable to helping these events go as effectively as they do, including statistics tracking and all the rest. Thank you to Master Arms servers for providing a playing environment for all competitors today. And in fact, once we have Udachi on the ground, we'll give you a little shout out from Master Arms servers. Now, this is the one time you do not want to slip up on. You see, this would be the perfect moment to have some custom liveries or something, Udachi. And that way, you could have some beautiful chip girl art to show up. The F-18 doesn't have the smash for BVR. I would argue it does. It depends on the environment. Especially when they're running clean with only the 2 AIM-120 pylons and a centerline tank. Once that centerline tank comes off, the F-18 is pretty speedy. Especially compared to a fully laden F-16. So it depends. I find that the Hornet's high altitude performance can be underestimated, but you're right. It does occasionally lack that, it does occasionally suffer a little bit in terms of speed. Does make up for it with great radar and great situational awareness. Come on, Udachi. It all counts on you. Whether or not your team wins or loses here depends on this safe landing. Firing Sparrows against R-27s in the F-18 is a nerve-wracking exercise. I always find the Sparrows to be slower than I expected. The amount of times I've been in BVR and I've fired off my Sparrows, I do this every time. I think that I have a good Sparrow lock on someone, I fire my Sparrow and start, you know, notching and defending against the missile while maintaining my radar lock. And then I think to myself, well, my missile clearly didn't hit. It's taking too long to hit. I need to turn in and fire a second missile. So I turn in and I fire a second missile, and right as that second Sparrow leaves the wings, the first Sparrow destroys the person I'm shooting at. Every time. I always forget to give the Sparrows like 1 extra second of time. And it's looking pretty good for Udachi. Come on, mate. Come on. Doesn't want to go down. There you go. Wheels on the ground give us a nice aero brake. Perfect. And Udachi manages to secure round 1 for Fleet Girl air superiority. And I double-click on the wrong thing. Okie dokie, guys. Well, that secures round 1 with Udachi managing to secure the win. I am going to restart the server now and get everyone ready for the next mission. And while that happens, let's hear a little word from our friends over at Master Arm.
Running a dedicated DCS server can be complex, time-consuming, and expensive. And after all that effort, you still might not get the smooth, seamless experience you're looking for. That's why virtual pilots and virtual squadrons choose Master Arm as a ready for immediate use solution and for peak efficiency. With low latency, high stability, and uncompromising performance, Master Arm ensures that every maneuver, every decision, and every shot counts. Stay mission ready. Fly with confidence. Master Arm has your 6. Get your server at www.masterarm.de.
Thank you very much, Master Arm. All right, guys. So it's time to stand up, get ourselves ready for the next round, get ourselves a drink and go to the bathroom. So I'm going to make the round turn from number 1 to number 2. I see we have Derby from HRP here as well. Derby, if there's anything you'd like to share about your team, please feel free to let us know what Harpia is all about. I thank you for your write-up that you sent us earlier about promoting the DCS multiplayer community in Brazil. I'm sure they appreciate it very much. We'll be playing some ads while we get ready for the next round. So make sure that you go and get yourself a drink. We'll be right back, guys. Alright guys, welcome back. How are you guys all doing? Hey, what are you doing with your hook down? You're gonna mess up the taxiway, and your teammates have to use that. You got your lid open, you got your hook down, what are you doing over G? Is this over G or is this Trigger? It looks like it's Trigger. Oh, I see. Is Trigger the hero of Arpia? Tell me about some of your teammates if you're still here, Derby. I'd love to know where you found each other and what experiences you guys have shared with each other. How long have you been flying together? Overg, Trigger, Wolf, Gurky are spawned in and getting themselves ready on Tbilisi airfield. Meanwhile, at Sakumi, we have Enterprise, Gearing, Oyodo, Scharnhorst, Maduri, and the hero of the previous round, Udachi. So it looks like it's all F-16s for Fleet Girl air supremacy. Superiority, rather. I keep thinking it's supremacy, but it's not. So, Enterprise, Gearing, Oyodo, Scharnhorst, Missouri, and Udachi. All 6 looking good and feeling good. Meanwhile, we have Newt, Gurkey, and Red now beginning their journeys over to the runway. Hello, Derby. I was just asking you about your teammates. I was asking where you guys met each other and whether or not Trigger is your superstar pilot. Because I heard some people say in the last round that this isn't over if Trigger's still up. Beautiful C-130s and KC-135s looking good in the background. We have Over-G, Trigger, Wolf, Newton, Gurkey all set up. As soon as Red is taxi, I think we'll be good to go. You all got to know each other by flying around in DCS and playing together since 2019. Ah, sounds fantastic. Expect another good one? I can't wait. That first round was so much fun. Trigger is a great pilot and a great friend. Are there... I think the two ways that I would like to be described by anyone is a good pilot and a good friend. Let's run a poll here to see who's here to support who. So a poll will be appearing at the top of your screen so you can vote who you think is going to win round 2, whether it's Harpier or FGAS. Thank you. Hello, Wicker HT, how are you? Also, thank you for the follows. Felipe XLR, Cowboy Zero, Poker Ada, Jungler DCS, Varmo 7, and Disarray. Thank you for supporting me. This is so much better than the Joker 2. I went to the cinema today and I watched Mickey 17, actually, which was good fun. Okay. We will be hearing... HRP is already ready. Let's watch their takeoffs this time. And don't they look gorgeous? You learned how to launch Mavericks. It's not an easy thing to do. We should be hearing that they are ready over at FGAS's side. They will tell us that they are ready in no time, I'm sure. Just a matter of getting weapons on wings. Okay, I think we're just waiting on this last jet on the right-hand side to get its gear on. And it looks like the jamming pod is going on today. Do a quick check to make sure everyone's got the right amount of missiles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Perfect. Excellent. Okay, both teams ready. Get set. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go, go, go. And there we have it. Let's shift up the music so it's appropriate for our fight night. Oh, I see. The first Brazilian fighter group with their P-47s in the Italian theater during World War II. I love that. They look absolutely gorgeous. Okay, so Aubergy and Newt have taken off correctly. Trigger and Red following along behind, and then Wolf and Gurky bringing it up the rear. It was interesting in the first round watching FGAS give up so much of the territory by being a little bit slow to enter the circle, though who are we to question their motives when they ended up winning the round? So perhaps slow and steady does win the race. And the last pilot's off the ground as Wolf takes off for HRP. Meanwhile, they're separating back out into their groups. with Gearing leading the northern group in the JF-17 Thunder. Flanked on both sides by 2 more F-16s. So in the northern group, it's Gearing, Scharnhorst, and Missouri. In the southern group, we have Udachi, Oyodo, and Enterprise. Meanwhile, Overg and Trigger are heading north. Newt and Red are heading south. And through the middle, we have Wolf and Gurkey. Also, welcome in, Technitinium. How are you? You're just in time for the second round as Gearing, Scharnhorst, and Missouri are taking their time going down in the center, but Overg in the middle is happily leading the way. Hope you're doing well today, Tech. Overg is just going right for it. I think they've detected that FGAS can be a little bit slow to enter the circle. It does give them a good opportunity to pick up plenty of good space to work with. As the afterburner lights up on the JF-17. Enterprise actually only down at 10,000 feet at the moment. The model of the JF-17 Thunder is so gorgeous. My favorite part is this this interesting detail of the hump in the intakes that's designed to, I think, reduce infrared signature as well as radar cross-section to some degree. Could do better. Well, I hope it does get better, mate. Blue takes control of the battle area. No surprises there. They've been afterburning since takeoff. And unsurprisingly, Overg is the one leading the way. Radar absorbent. It's something about that, isn't it? I forget the specifics of how it works. Looks like the northern group have decided to climb up a little bit higher. Thank you, Tech, for the 300 bits. You don't have to do that. And heading up to 28,000 feet. Now, even though the JF-17 doesn't carry the biggest amount of fuel in the world, at this altitude, it does use it very efficiently. So we may see Gearing happily keeping the afterburners running for a while. They'll definitely break up supersonic airflow too. Yeah. DSI intake, there you go. Looks like Harpia are the favourites for round 2. With 78% of the vote going towards them. With a little bit of time to warm up and get focused, I have no doubt that Overg and the rest of Harpia are going to be giving us a good show. Oh, I see you, Derby. Oh, you're much smarter than me. The battle area is contested as the JF-17s of the Northern Group progress into the circle at 35,000 feet with 82 nautical miles to cover. Now, the JF-17's radar isn't as good as it used to be. It used to be able to easily get locks up to huge ranges, but I feel like the JF-17's radar is a little bit more in line with what we'd expect from the F-18 than the F-16 at this point. So we'll see what kind of lock range we get out of the JF-17s. Looks like it's currently 70 nautical miles to cover between Overg and Gearing. Meanwhile, Enterprise is now 70 as well, and progressing up to 32,000 feet. When you look at the JF-17 Thunder front on, you realize how wide the strakes are. Has a really interesting look. Kind of like a MiG-21 that fell on top of a paper aeroplane. It was previously instantly able to get track files instead of having to track for a bit. You see. 55 nautical miles for Overg. They're both at 40,000 feet. Let's check their relative speeds. Gearing is traveling at 516 knots, and it looks like Overg is traveling at 588. So Overg with the speed advantage. The radar stayed the same, it just got brought into line with other ED aircraft. I see. And certainly so. Turning over and going defensive without having had fired, but Gearing has fired the first SD-10 of the match. Looks like it has 40 nautical miles to cover, and it doesn't look like Overg has let that one go unanswered. So this SD-10 is at 90,000 feet, and it is not going to be coming back down, I don't think. I think it is locked onto the moon and will not be with us anymore. That missile is long gone, just like ex-wife that will never return. So, your missile's at 110,000 feet into the air, and is not going to get much done. Looks like it's going to find its way back down to Earth eventually. So while it looks like this missile's not too far away from trigger, it's certainly nearly 60,000 nautical miles, 60,000 feet too high. 127,000 feet. Gives us a nice top-down view of the battlefield. This will be our spectator missile from now on. Meanwhile, Udachi and Ovo are 39 nautical miles away from Red and Gurkey. Alarm the ISS, yeah. Someone tell the ISS to start dumping chaff. Another SD-10 out. This one looks like it's from Enterprise. This one has not decided to go on a one-way trip to space. And it looks like it has actually found its target. It might be trigger. Hopefully it doesn't hit. We don't want to see HRP lose their superstar pilot at the get-go. Still at 32,000 feet and traveling at 1,200 knots. This is locking onto trigger. But it looks like trigger nose is there. And certainly gets away from it clean. Trigger under no stress here. Both Newt and Red having to contend with 120s here. As Scharnhorst and Overg face off against each other. And it looks like Scharnhorst has fired a missile over at Overg, but Overg is already defending and going to bring that one down into... Well, I have to play Devil Trigger if Trigger is flying, surely. Overg gets away from that one comfortably. Making sure that all of the wildlife in the Caucasus Mountains is awake and paying attention to today's excellent aerial dogfight. Gurke, it looks like they're throwing down the gauntlet here. Going defensive. No one's launched on them just yet, but looks like they're leaving space for Red and Newt to begin attacking towards Udachi and Oyodo. Scharnhorst is chasing Overg in the northern mountains here. Yes, SpaceX has announced that, in fact NASA has announced that the latest ISS resupply mission is going to be performed by an SD-10. Newt here, getting quite close to the two fighters down in the south, and sure enough, a missile comes off the wings. That looks like it's a 8 nautical mile shot towards Oyodo. Good probability on that one, I think. Oyodo's going to have their work cut out for them to get away from that one. Oyodo, did you get found out at a little bit too high in altitude? Ooh, might have managed to bring that AIM 120 straight into the ground. No dice. And Newt is ice cold against the 125 in response. This is no factor. Already down to 800 knots. Bang, bang, bang. Goes my double trigger. Is it still going, or did it self-destruct by now? It has... it is... I don't know. I don't know if that's it. I don't think that's it. Trigger having to defend against an SD-10 here. Flying low over the lakes. Getting away from it clean. No worries. That was no threat. Scharnhorst here and Overg laying down the challenge again to go after each other. They have the chance of getting quite close to each other now, actually. Overg with a little bit extra height here fires off the missile and goes defensive. Scharnhorst has fired at the same time. They were both at about 10,000 feet, so both of these missiles are going to have their work cut out for them. Crossing the expanse of the sky, the one fired towards Overg impacts some poor person's house. The one fired towards Scharnhorst at least goes for the trees instead of any residential buildings. Boom. Wolf has an AIM 120 coming in towards them. Ditching altitude to get away from it. This missile's quite slow. And it looks like it's going to be introducing itself into the dark orange trees of the Caucasus. Sure enough. Red fires towards Gearing, 12 nautical miles. Gurke, only 10 away from Udachi and Oyodo. Udachi pushing in hard here now. Still with the fuel tanks on. Gearing, I feels like, is aware that the missile is for them. And I'm looking at a building. And that missile's going to get defeated. As Trigger is now at the front lines. Gurke facing off against Oyodo at 6 nautical miles. Managing to get a solid shot off. Oyodo's going to have to defend against this one. Does Oyodo manage to pull it off twice? The countermeasures are pumping out. And into the trees. Oyodo gets away from it, but can't have many countermeasures left. Trigger managing to evade yet more AIM 120s going to the trees. I get a feeling that there is a significant missile economy advantage as all of the planes for HRP crisscross the sky right next to each other. All three of them stacked on top. Okay, SD10's going in both directions. This one just overflies one of the members of HRP, not going for the one that was flying towards it. It's going for the cold target, who manages to get away. Red manages to evade that one, but Enterprise and Newt trade missiles with each other. Enterprise maybe caught way too high up in the air up here. 15,000 feet in the JF-17, you're not going to get away from it. Enterprise gets splashed, and it's the first kill for HRP. Now there are SD-10s going towards Gurkey. Gurkey manages to evade the SD-10 fired by the now dead Enterprise. Oyodo seeks revenge, fires an AIM-120 potentially towards Red. Looks like it's at 10 nautical miles. Red in a perfect position to notch. It's a 5v6 here in favour of HRP, as Trigger continues down the valleys. Has been afterburning for a while now. Hopefully he's not too low on fuel. But FGAS is not taking their hits lying down, as Udachi and Oyodo start pushing towards Red, Newt and Gurkey in the southern group. Trigger here now closing to within 7 nautical miles of Scharnhorst, who is just off his nose. Not going especially fast, but Scharnhorst fires a 120. Looks like this is being traded in both directions towards Overg. With Scharnhorst turning cold, Trigger has an opportunity to push now, but has to be careful of Gearing on his left, who has just launched an SD-10 towards Trigger. This SD-10 towards Trigger goes straight into the dirt. And Gurkey has managed to splash Oyodo in the south. Trigger and Wolf pushing hard here. Udachi now getting very close to Newt, who fires a 120 towards him. Wolf and Trigger both getting very close to Scharnhorst now, who is going to have to defend with everything they've got to get away from these AIM-120s. Does not have success, and Scharnhorst impacts the dirt. Trigger chasing down Gearing now, launches a 120 off the wings. Gearing is turning in red hot, but does not manage to evade the 120. The missile fired in response was not going towards Trigger. Where was it flying to? Looks like it went straight for the terrain. This is all falling apart for FGAS. Udachi now up against 4 aircraft. Missouri now having to face off against Overg. What have you got left, Udachi, to fight with? Looks like you've got 2 AIM-120s and 2 AIM-9s, and that's it. Trigger now having to contend with Missouri, who's coming in down south to help out. If this 120 is towards Trigger, then he's probably defeated it. And certainly so. Looks like that missile's given up. But Udachi fires at 120. This one's going straight for Trigger, impacts residential area, and Udachi gets away. Udachi spending one of those precious missiles, as Wolf is looking straight down the barrel of his opponent. A 120 comes off the wings, and it is guiding towards the F-16 that has just got to try and notch it into the terrain. Does not have any success. FGAS is down to 1 pilot, and it is Udachi as Red comes in for revenge. Missile comes off the wings. Udachi is hot in. The missile connects. Udachi's response does connect with Red, though, taking out 2 of the pilots for HRP, who now have Wolf, Overg, Newt, and Trigger to RTB. An excellent fight. HRP looking very in control of the situation now, stabilizing themselves after a rocky start, and then successfully managing to regain control of the situation. And assuming that any one of them has enough fuel to make it back home, that'll secure round 2 for HRP. Okie dokie, let's have a look at the TAC view. Lots happened in that round, and it happened quite quickly. The first kill, the one that we didn't see, was scored by Gurki in the south. Oyodo getting very lucky with these evasions, but Gurki managing to... Oh, in fact, it was Newt that manages to find Enterprise. The first kill of the match here. Enterprise getting caught just at too high an altitude. You've got an F-16 within 6 nautical miles, and you're at 17,000 feet. That AIM-120's booster motor is going to get it all the way up there with time to spare. So FGAS, Enterprise gets caught up just a little bit higher up in the sky than they might have wanted. Oyodo seeks revenge. In fact, let's have a look at what happened to that SD-10. So, SD-10 comes off the rails, goes all the way up to 1,290 feet, and, oh, you know why it guided that way? It's locked onto the AWACS. So, this SD-10 tries very hard to go for the AWACS, but then gets lost, and has the world's saddest journey back down to the ground. And unfortunately doesn't find anyone to hit. Okay, so Gurki lays down the gauntlet here to fight with Oyodo. Oyodo and Gurki launch at each other at 4.5 nautical miles. Gurki gets the shot off first, and takes out Oyodo, but Oyodo's missile is self-guiding and manages to find its way all the way back to this poor old F-18. Gurki getting very unlucky to not evade that one. So Gurki gets splashed there, but manages to trade with Oyodo, and Trigger down here, just mastering these hills, putting the pressure on Scharnhorst and Gearing, both of whom look like they were totally defensive. An excellent combined push from Trigger and Wolf. And Wolf gets a great kill against Scharnhorst here. And Trigger seals the deal. Gearing is not going to get away from a hot AIM-120. It's coming right for them. And the PL-5 looks like it came off the wings, but did not have any ambitions to impact our friend Trigger, who was countermeasuring plenty anyway, and manages to get away with it. And then it all falls down to Udachi, who has to run away with everything he's got. Udachi actually getting a good quick snapshot against Trigger here, forcing Trigger to give him a little bit of space. That's my purse, I don't know you. As Missouri and Wolf nerd with each other. Wolf just a little bit high up, I think. But perfect altitude to get a bang-on AIM-120 shot and deal with Missouri. And Udachi is dealing with AIM-7s, AIM-120s, AIM-9s. And does Red actually secure this kill with an AIM-7? Looks like he does. The Sparrow's coming in clutch today. But not before the 120 comes off Udachi's wings and deals the killing blow to Red, who just was the right person in the wrong place to introduce themselves to a wayward AIM-120. So as you say, Shorter Guns, going into a very well-earned round 3, I think. This has been a terrific match so far, with HRP getting off to a rocky start in the first round, and then coming back seemingly a whole new team in the second round, and demonstrating what looked like a complete mastery of the air. The question is, though, is the trick spawning on the blue side? Because both wins so far have been on the blue side of the map, and maybe that side's just luckier. Or has HRP warmed up and managed to find themselves in a position to take command? It'll all come down to round 3, unless all of these boys manage to crash on landing. Though, with Overg, Mute, Wolf, and Trigger making their way back, and they have 55 nautical miles to cover. So it'll take them a little bit, but not too long. Remember, the landings are part of what makes SATAC SATAC. It's not enough to just be able to win the fight, but to manage your fuel well enough to be able to make it back home. How far can you push it? We've had planes touch down on the runway as their engines were shutting down. We've had F-16s that have had to use EPU power to try and get themselves down on the runway, and myriad other ways that planes have eventually introduced themselves to either the terrain or their takeoff point. And would you look at that, Wolf is kind enough to turn on the formation lights, because it is getting a little bit dark. It's 17:48 in the evening, and we should anticipate the sunset shortly. I think both teams have managed to figure each other out in terms of positioning now. FGAS, I think, caught them off guard in the first round by bringing them into their side of the engagement area and playing really well in their defense against missiles. However, it feels like HRP have walked away from this realizing that if they fire a missile at the members of FGAS, then that means that they will turn cold, and that gives them an opportunity to push and punish. So it's all about teamwork. It's all about the grind. It's all about covering off your teammates while they turn cold. Because if your entire team turns cold at the same time, then you are totally defensive, and you are at the mercy of airplanes that would seek to do you harm. You recall a lot more homicidal squirrels in the past? Look, whatever those squirrels get up to, I don't want to know. I just want them to introduce me to Squirrel Girl. Okie doke. So, they've covered half the distance home. Wolf seems to be leading the way and has 27 nautical to go, with the runway in sight. Even if his engine's quick now, he should hopefully be able to make it back home. It'll be close. I was flying an F-15 Charlie on contention the other day, and managed to run out of fuel and have to glide all the way back to the runway, and I managed to land 0.8 nautical miles away from the runway in a grass field, and they wouldn't repair me. I mean, that's close enough to walk. Okay, I can walk to the runway and get myself some more fuel, and then I'll drive the plane over, okay? Okay, Wolf leads the way back down towards home base. How good are your IFR landings? Oh, I hope you're enjoying the coverage. The camera work is a really good fun part of casting a SATAC match. So I hope it looks good, and I hope you guys aren't too bothered if there's two things happening at the same time. I can only look at one of them, so we'll always try and catch anything that happens on TAC-View afterwards and make sure that you guys are getting the full coverage of the match as it happens live. Where's that runway? There's one of them. Where's the one we want, though? I've forgotten my way around. Has someone turned on the lights at Tbilisi? Yeah, they have. Perfect. As we see a bracket of flares coming out from Harpia. Center Pua. Oh, a little bit of desync there. I thought he was just about ready to hit the deck. Touchdown! Harpia manages to secure round 2 with an excellent landing in the F-18C. Looking good, looking good. Excellent work. And looks like Wolf is the next one to come down. Let's update the score. It's 1-1, and we'll be heading into round 3. Wolf touches down. All we've got left is Newt and Overg. Newt in the F-16. Thank you for the follow. Thank you for gifting the sub to Hex, I am Fighter 104. Much appreciated. And thank you for the follow, yes, Sebi Visuals. Wait a second. Where's the wheels? Where's the wheels? No wheels. Yeah. Now, I could have sworn there was something on the landing checklist about landing gear, but I can't remember, so close enough is good enough. Newt has landing gear issues. I see, I see. Well, for a wheels up landing, that was very neat by Newt. Well done. You guys have supported me wonderfully throughout SATAC. I hope that you take the time to to give a little bit of love to the organisers and everyone else involved in the competition. You'll see the links to SATAC in the chat, and of course all of our sponsors are on screen all the time. And there we go. Overg makes it down onto the runway. We'll have to send out a tow truck for Newt. Okay, guys, time to stand up, stretch your legs, get yourself a drink, and get ready for the next round, because it's going to be happening faster than you think. We will do some ads so that we don't have any ads during the matches, and we will get things going as quickly as possible for you. So make sure you stand up, stretch your legs, and entertain yourself on this here Sunday, the 30th. Tomorrow is the 31st, and Tuesday is the 1st of April as well. Have you guys got any exciting things on the horizon when it comes to doing some April pranks? We'll do a quick go right back and get the ads out of the way while we get ready for the next round, guys, okay? We'll be right back as we prepare for round number 3. Alright, welcome back everyone. As we prepare for the next round, we have Newt, Red, Trigger, Wolf, Gurky, and Overg lined up for HRP. As we use a little bit of sunlight we've got left to admire these gorgeous liveries, E47's in Italy, huh? They got up to some real mischief over there. Someone's causing a traffic jam here. Trigger politely asking his teammate to get a wriggle on. Thank you very much. Don't you hate it when people tailgate like this? Never a police officer when you need one. He overtakes him. And Trigger takes the outside line, successfully overtaking his teammate here. The F-18 with excellent cornering performances on those hard turns during the taxiway. Now in second place, Trigger is now facing down against the leader. The F-16 here, of course. Good in a straight line, not so good in the turns because of that narrow landing gear. Trigger's going to have his work cut out for him to overtake the leader. HRP makes their way as the members of FGAS are en route. Looks like everyone is ready and raring to go, wasting no time to make their way down to the runway. Let's get you guys a poll as well, so you can let me know who you're supporting for round 3. That'll be going for 10 minutes. Is this DCS Tokyo Drift? Oh, you betcha. I wonder if you know how it goes in Tbilisi Locini. Digital Racing Simulator? If there's one thing I would never, ever want Eagle Dynamics to do, it will be make a racing game. Okay, now we have some interesting notes to take note of here. They have gotten rid of their JF-17s. So, Scharnhorst, Gearing, Enterprise, Oyodo, and Udachi are here, but we have Amatsukaze in an F-18 now, filling in and taking the spot of one of the members of FGAS. So it is all Western, all F-16s with one F-18 thrown in for a little bit of flavour. Meanwhile, the members of HRP are nicely getting into position. Nice. FGAS reports ready. And hopefully we'll hear the same from the members of HRP shortly. Both teams have all but one of the same airframe. Well, it looks like we have 5 F-18s. Both teams ready. Okay, both teams ready. Get set. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go, go, go. And there we have it. As the first jets take off for HRP. Looking fabulous in the sky. Let's have a look as the second line takes off. That's Red and Trigger heading down the runway. And Udachi and Oyodo, the last ones to take off for FGAS. Everyone's off the runway. FGAS and HRP are ready to face off against each other. Santa Pua. HRP bringing it up for Brazil. Let's go for Fleet Girls, waifus for life. Yeah, we need to cheer on FGAS as well, guys. Make sure everyone gets a chance. Looks like Newt is going far up into the north, much further than they've gone in the previous rounds. Over G still leading the way and going straight for the circle. Looks like Amatsukaze and Scharnhorst are breaking off into the northern group in a pair. Let's switch up the music. Over G, heading towards the circle with only 10 nautical miles to go to get into it. Gearing and Enterprise are heading straight down the middle this time, though. Gearing is heading towards the zone, has 20 nautical miles to cross to get into it. Let's watch Over G head into the circle here. Over G captures the zone for the red team. The fight is on. Gearing still has 10 nautical to go, but he'll make that in no time. Let's check everything in the background is all connected and working like we expect. It is. Over G going really fast here, actually. Still with all 3 fuel tanks on. I reckon we'll drop one of those in just a sec. Looks like HRP is now 100 nautical miles away from Gearing, who's just about to cross over into the circle. We have to sort out FGAS with some skins for the matches to come, I think. We need some good waifu skins on these planes. And the battle area is contested. Gearing makes it into the circle and contests it, which means it's fight time. Okay. Scharnhorst and Amatsukuze about to enter the circle as well, crossing 30,000 feet. And climbing. Newt in the north, in the F-16, has turned and peeled into the circle now at 43,000 feet. I reckon that HRP has correctly guessed that aggression is key here. I think that the members of FGAS have tremendous ability to defend against missiles, and I think they've demonstrated over and over again that they will get away from low probability of kill missile shots regularly. Though, with that having had been said, they do have a bit of a bad habit of turning really cold against their shots and not covering their wingman. So, part of me thinks that HRP is looking to take advantage of this situation by pushing extra hard, and as long as they make sure that they have missiles in the sky against FGAS, then they will hopefully be trying to push them down low and catch them in the net. That being said, Gearing is climbing up to 40,000 feet here and leveling off. Gotta be careful that that confidence into the fight doesn't translate into mistakes and ending up getting yourself a long-range AMRAAM for your trouble. Hi GTA Gamer, I'm afraid that I'm probably not in a position to help you just at the moment, but if you join my Discord in the link down below, I'm sure that one of the members of my community might be able to help you with any problems you've got. Perfect flying as Scharnhorst breaks off north. No missiles off the wings just yet. Newt is dropping down from some of that altitude. Thank you for the follow, Laser Squeaker. And Overg launches the first missile of the match at a mighty 42,000 feet. You hear that missile scream past and break the sound barrier. That is a 45 nautical mile shot against Gearing, who is taking a shot of their own now. And going defensive, so 2 shots at over 40 nautical miles between Overg and Gearing. Let's have a look at Overg's missile, which is at 76,000 feet and beginning its downward curve. You can see the contrails of the southern group just over the top of the fins of the missile. And the intended target of this one, Gearing down here, just appearing off the missile's nose. This missile looks like it has actually excellent guidance. The one fired in response, 60,000 feet, is also making its way. Both of these missiles are going to need to be evaded, not just by sheer momentum. And we're getting visited by the venerable Mika VT. Welcome in, guys. If you like aviation content, make sure that you send a little bit of love Mika VT's way. Welcome into round 3 of SATAC, Mika. It's been an amazing match so far, with HRP and FGAS successfully managing to secure 1 round each. And you're just in time to watch the fights begin in round 3. Looks like the missile towards Gearing has run out of steam, and the 1-5 towards Overg is also no good. Meanwhile, Scharnhorst, Amatsukaze, and Red are all poking at each other. 22,000 feet, so it's not the highest altitude in the world, but it's enough altitude to launch a missile at about 30 to 25 nautical miles, I think. I reckon in 5 nautical miles' time, we'll see Scharnhorst try and shoot here. Looks like he's pushing to get a little bit closer, actually. 22 nautical miles now. They're closing pretty fast. And Trigger is left unsupervised with the opportunity to pinch in towards Scharnhorst and Amatsukaze. An excellent opportunity formulating here between Red and Trigger. If they can just support each other in these missile shots, they can force the Northern Group defensive. Not just yet, though, as Oyodo is 12 nautical miles away from Overg and well within range for a missile shot. Question is, can Oyodo get him on scope? Simply locking up a bandit can be hard enough sometimes, especially when there's an altitude difference. Oyodo going down hard and not firing towards Overg. Amatsukaze launches their first AIM-120 of the match, the newcomer for round 3. Dropping down some altitude after firing a 120 that is losing speed and is dropping below 23,000 feet. Everyone playing it very cautiously now. Gearing and Trigger not far away from each other. Trigger seems to be much more comfortable at the lower altitudes, not necessarily taking full advantage of being at 27,000 feet, keeping the space to maneuver. Gearing not firing here as well. They're both in range of each other, so it'll be whoever pulls the trigger first, I think, with 15 nautical miles. Udachi gives Wolf something to think about, as Wolf is going to have to drop some altitude to get down here, and certainly is. Both teams here exhibiting excellent discipline when it comes to missile defense. This same 120 traveling at 200 knots does not have a snowball chance in hell of finding Newt up there. Trigger is facing off against Scharnhorst, which is just off his right shoulder. No shots just yet. Everyone looking to bait out the AIM-120s, but no one really willing to commit into the battle. Looks like Overg is doing that rollover that they like to do in HRP as they fire their missile and then immediately go defensive. 2 120s come off the wings for Overg. A dual target track, one towards Udachi, one towards Oyodo. One towards Udachi looks like it has some potential, but Udachi does have the mountains to hide behind. Always something tricky to take into contention. And if you live in this neighborhood down here, you may be entitled to compensation if an AIM-120 just hit the top of your house. Not from me, but I'm sure Technotinium can sort you out with a gift card or something. Oyodo also defeats the 125 at them, all out of gas. And I forgot to read what the results of the poll were. Who won the poll? How do I see the results of the poll? Damn it. I was too excited as Wolf begins pushing in here, still with all of his AMRAMs, but has fired an AIM-9? I'm going to have to check where that AIM-9 shot happened, because I wouldn't have thought Wolf would have been in range for any AIM-9 shots, but he's very close to Gearing and Oyodo now. Oyodo fires off an AIM-120 in the clouds. against Wolf, who is ice cold already. And is turning cold against Oyodo's 120 shot. Plenty of missiles spent, none of them finding their marks just yet. Trigger pushing in. Trigger fires off a 120, comes off the wings, and it looks like it's heading towards Gearing, who's at 6,000 feet. Let's see where these missiles go. Trigger's 120, looks like it's destined for the trees. And the one fired in response is already sent into the dirt. Everyone playing their cards close to their chest. A 10 nautical mile shot towards Matsukaze, who's pretty much already cold against it. Looks like Enterprise has sent a 120 Wolf's way, maybe towards Newt, as Scharnhorst and Red face off against each other. But Scharnhorst may have made the mistake that was made in the second round, where he's a little bit too high up to be doing those kinds of shots. Nothing to worry about. Matsukaze knows exactly how high they are, and that this missile is no factor. What about the one fired in response towards Red? And it looks like Newt managed to get a shot off against Enterprise, managing to take down the first member of FGAS. So it's a 5v6 in favor of the members of HRP just at the moment, but Trigger may be caught out of position here. This AIM 120 going absolutely haywire and not finding its target despite having plenty of energy to go get it. Wolf now facing down the barrel of a 120 shot. Wolf is flying pretty directly towards this, though. Is he going to have the capacity to get away? It's going to be so close. Wolf manages to defeat the missile. Unbelievably. Has another one coming in. What about this one? Wolf manages to get away from this one by centimeters. Wolf evading two missiles at such close range that you would imagine that they would have been deadly. Udachi defending against missiles here that are chasing him down into the valleys, but all of them get splashed into the terrain. FGAS showing great command of the environment. Overg chasing Udachi now at 5 nautical miles. Gearing is pushing towards Wolf and Newt. Scharnhorst is facing off against Red, as Red fires towards Scharnhorst at 7 nautical miles. And Wolf turns cold against Gearing. Newt looks for the second kill. This missile heading for Newt impacts the terrain. One fired in response towards Gearing, manages to clear the trees. And Gearing has enough speed to get away. Amatsukaze and Gurki are facing off right against each other now. Noses directly on each other, two missiles traded in both directions. The missile heading towards Amatsukaze, going to be difficult to defeat here. Amatsukaze turns ice cold against it. But does it have the legs? Amatsukaze manages to notch it in the last second. What about the response? It does not find its target. Meanwhile, we have Udachi merging with Trigger. Trigger manages to take out Udachi in a close-range fight with an AIM 120C as the wreckage of Udachi comes flying off the wings. 3 missiles get launched. All of them are going out towards Gearing, who gets splashed by Trigger. Trigger scores 2. Oyodo now looking for revenge. Oyodo launches missiles but has an AIM 120 coming in towards him. Oyodo manages to splash Trigger and defend against the AIM 120 fight in response. Trigger is down. Oyodo now surrounded by Newt and Wolf. Has Newt on one side, has pulling around to try and get the nose on him, down to AIM 9s. AIM 9 comes off the wings. It goes for the heat seek countermeasures. Oyodo now with Wolf behind him as well. Wolf is going to have to seal the deal here some way. He's still got AIM 7. But somehow does not manage to connect as Oyodo manages to get an AIM 9 off, but it goes for the countermeasures again. Oyodo is now down to guns. and is red hot with multiple members of HRP. Manages to get gun hits against the F-16 from HRP, and Wolf is pulling in behind him. Wolf manages to get the gun kill and secure the kill as Amatsukaze and Scharnhorst are the last two remaining. An AIM-120 comes off from Gurki towards Amatsukaze. Amatsukaze gonna have to defeat this one. No dice. Amatsukaze gets impacted, and it's all down on Scharnhorst. And poor old Scharnhorst is down to nothing but AIM-9Ms. What more could you want? This match has everything. Newt has the opponent directly in front of him. And they merge. Newt not managing to spot him just in time, but Scharnhorst with 120s coming in all directions. Scharnhorst gets splashed by two missiles from two different directions. You're out of luck. And the members of Harpier manage to secure the battle space with Overgy, Newt, Gurke, Red, and Wolf still in the air. Okie doke. So, let's see what we missed. A tremendous battle. Everyone playing right on the outside of their envelope. Defending with everything they've got. But I think things started to fall apart when Enterprise gets splashed. Enterprise getting caught slightly out of position there, and I think that's when the cohesion of the team started to struggle just a little bit. So, Enterprise getting shot down here. And Gearing shortly afterwards, getting stuck into the fight of their life. So, Udachi here, managing to merge with Trigger just off his nose. Managing to oh, look at that. So lucky. So, Trigger pulls up here. Notices on the HMD that he's got Udachi 3 nautical miles away. A 2.2 nautical mile off bore sight AIM-120C shot. It pulls huge G's and goes straight for Udachi. But check this out. Not only does this AIM-120 splash Udachi, but it caught Udachi in the process of firing an AIM-9. You see this? The AIM-9's just coming off the wings, and then the explosion of the AIM-120 takes out the AIM-9 along with Udachi. And I'm willing to bet if that AIM-9 had actually made it off the rails, Trigger would have been in a lot of trouble. Then we ended up with this incredible situation with Gearing. 2 AIM-9s, an AIM-7, an AIM-9 come off the wings. Every missile he's got. Trigger goes from one kill to the next. So look at this. Trigger, 1-120, takes out the first F-16, fires 3 more missiles, splashes Gearing in the head-on, fires an AIM-7, tries to get the last kill against Oyodo, but the AIM-120 is already in the sky. Trigger getting good value out of himself there because he'd already spent all of his missiles, and Oyodo, very lucky that managed to get that missile to go cold, because it certainly would have killed him if he hadn't. And then Oyodo getting stuck into this Outrageous, outrageous merge here. The AIM-9 goes off the rails for Newt, but goes for the countermeasures. Yodo managing to pull the nose hard enough to actually get some gun hits against Newt here. At least I saw some gun hits. Non-critical, though, interestingly enough. So dead close as Oyodo tries for it. Newt gets the reversal here, going very slow. Tries a bit of gunfire, no luck. But, fortunately, Wolf is here to seal the deal. What range was that gun shot at? Okay, so 2,000 feet. That's pretty far. He's got the bandit in his sights. And that's just a bang-on hit. Excellent guns kill by Wolf. And then we have Amatsukaze and Scharnhorst. Struggling here, I think, against the sheer weight of numbers of HRP, as Gurki managed to get the AIM 120 against Amatsukaze, who doesn't get lucky with the notch this time. That one connects. And then Scharnhorst is all alone. Though Scharnhorst managing to get a really close merge here with Newt. The two of them in a tight tangle here, but no effect. And then from one side, an AIM 120. From the other side, an AIM 7. You're not getting away. You are simply going to do what we in the industry, explode. Tremendous flying. And let's see how the journey back home is going for HRP. And sure enough, we are witnessing a battle-damaged Newt make their way back home. A couple of those 20 mil rounds. Is it 20 or 25 mil? It's 20 mil, isn't it, on the Vulcan? Or is it 25? I forget. A couple of 25 mil shots blowing apart something important. I don't know which part of the plane this is, but I figure it's important. Too many people reverse in DCS when they shouldn't. It's not easy to know when to do what you want to do. I thought I saw the gunshots actually impact him on the tail, but it must have hit him right on the belly. Unbelievably, nothing leaking. It'll be interesting to see whether or not he can make it back home. Okay, I thought it was a 20. I know that there are 25s, but I can't remember which aircraft had them. We are renaming him to HRP Tank. That's a good idea. Hopefully he just remembers to put his wheels down on landing this time. Damn near any hit should be critical. Well, I'm sure these planes have a lot of redundancy built into them. So I'm certain that they are capable of taking their licks and keeping on kicking. I'd like to give a shout out to Kip Duran, who has made fantastic use of one of my favourite words, that is to say, ostensibly. Excellent usage of ostensibly. Hello, Warhawk, how are you? You're just catching the tail end of today's SATAC match. As... what are they doing up there? You see, this will all end in tears if you're not careful. Ooh. Ah, look at him. A well-deserved celebration after a hard-fought victory for both teams, I think. Showing off incredible, incredible flying skills. I didn't actually know they had any Australians on their team. I thought this was all Brazilian. Here comes the birdie. This is the end of round 3, Warhawk Ronin. This is the end. HRP is returning to base after scoring all of the kills necessary to win the round for round 3. The real question will be whether or not any of Newt's tyres are popped, because that'll make landing tricky, though fortunately he does have his teammates to rely on. You're telling me that the wheels don't render until they're out of the aircraft? I guess that makes sense, I just hadn't thought of it before. But yes, hopefully Newt doesn't have any popped tyres, because that'll make landing a little bit more trickier. And the Phaetines are making their way in formation back to base in their gorgeous Brazilian liveries. Make sure you interact with those links for the SATAC organisers in chat, by the way, guys. Their Discord, donation links, all worth checking out. Without them, an event like this would not be possible. In fact, it wouldn't even happen. I need Technotinium to do all of the hard work when it comes to organising the competition, because I can't look at a spreadsheet without breaking down in tears and throwing up. We win a match with totally belly landing. Well, you gotta win a match first, Kip Duran. Better get yourself a team, huh? I think formation flying is an important part of any SATAC team. Mainly because it looks really cool, and if you win a round, then you get to show off. Little bit of a celebration for the participants. I'm really curious about Newt. I think Newt might be the first one going into land. See what the tyre situation is like for the Fighting Falcon. Oh, you are in a team. April 6th. I better sign up to cast that match then. What's April 6th, DDCS and Griffin Squadron. Oh, 81 Bananas doing that. Okay. Looks like they're giving us a little bit of a air show. You need to compete with some fellow streamers? I'll happily compete with some fellow streamers, so long as I win. As the bundles of chaff and countermeasures come out. Looks like it's nearly landing time. As Red, the first one to come in and take a landing. EDCS, excellent. If you win, it's up to you. No, I only want to be in the competition if I win. I don't want to compete if there's a chance that I won't win. So if everyone agrees in advance to let me win, then I will gladly participate in your competition. Okay, Kip. No worries. EDCS does like to put on a show. Hey, what's going on here? Wolf getting cut off by Red here. Hopefully the wake turbulence doesn't cause Wolf any problems. Because Wolf is going to have to fly right through it. And it looks good. As round number 3 goes to Arpia. Perfect. Meanwhile, over G. Coming in. Hello, Oyodo. How are you? Welcome in. Oh, got Oyodo here, but Oyodo's muted. Hopefully everything's okay.
Howdy. It was certainly a bittersweet moment for me, but well, that was our first match.
I was gonna say a relatively fresh team within the DCS space.
None of us have been into like competitive like a BBR before, so we're quite happy to even get one. So
absolutely. In fact, I would say that all of the matches ended up being really close. The first round was fantastic. Really put them on the ropes there, and I think that all of you guys demonstrated a really, really good ability to be able to evade missiles. You know, you can sometimes tell if a team's newer when it comes to cohesiveness, but in terms of individual pilot ability, I felt like every member of FGAS was kind of really good at judging missile ranges and defending.
I don't know if you were hinting something, but we basically, how we prepared was for the last month or two, we kind of, for every Saturday or even during the week, we just get on for like 1 or 2 hours, just fight each other.
Okay.
But we kind of started off as a kind of a pretty amateur, like a PvE team. We basically just do all the missions, our own missions, and we fly on our own. Sometimes we literally just kind of like, you know, those meme YouTube videos. We just fly off like for fun. Like,
absolutely. Yeah.
Land on the belt or something. But we kind of started off with that, and I'm perfectly satisfied like how we progressed during like the last week. Not last week, but like last month or two.
Absolutely. You guys looked experienced. You guys looked like you knew exactly what you were doing. And like I say, when you get the chance to have a look at the TAC views, I'm sure you'll realize just how close some of the missiles that you guys got away from.
I saw it. Yes, I saw the last one before.
Yeah, in fact, you probably saw it
merging
in the
with
mirrors.
the F-16. But well, it is what it is, and I think during one of those matches, I also saw like some of the shots that I turned cold. It was pretty damn close.
Absolutely. In fact, there were loads of missiles that were so close.
Yeah. Well, some of them I can guarantee you some of them are not intentional, but we do a lot of testing, like how close we can push, how close we can turn cold and stuff like that. But
Absolutely.
Well, it was definitely a overwhelming match for us. We never fought anybody with this kind of strength before.
How did it feel competing for the first time in a 6v6? Because until you've actually sat down and had a go at doing it.
Hello, guys. Trigger from Actor here.
Well,
hello, Trigger from HRP.
Good game, Trigger.
Yeah, we're just
It was definitely a good game. Yes.
It was a brilliant match. Well done to HRP.
Thank you.
What do you think, Oyodo, is going to be the focus for your training sessions moving forward? Now that you've felt it, now that you've kind of experienced what it's like.
It's definitely mutual support.
We never. Are you asking me or FGAS?
Just asking FGAS at the moment, Trigger.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah, I'll just finish soon. But basically, we did some of the basically we try to duplicate some of the actual syllabus. So we basically practice ACM a lot. But when we do ACM, it's usually like close range heaters only. But one of the big focus was having mutual support. Like if we have two ships support each other. HRP did a great job supporting each other, like on a low level, because we found out is we focus heavily on mutual support, and yet we were like no match in terms of like how quickly they lock up, every one of us, and how quickly they can get a shot off, and how quickly they can turn cold and basically go to their friend and having kind of like a crossfire to beat us. But it was I think our focus for right now is gonna be obviously improving our mutual support. We're gonna have teams. We're gonna improve our comms. We improve our how can we actually support each other efficiently and in this case quicker, because obviously HRP did a much better job on that.
Well, it does take a little bit of experience in getting used to, but I'm sure after a couple of matches it will be second nature. Trigger from HRP, congratulations. How is your team feeling? The pride of Brazil. How did it go, Trigger? How are you going?
Hello, Ashol. Thank you very much. First, I'd like to say good fight to FGAS. You guys put up a challenge for us, especially on the first round. Well, we are feeling very happy since it's our first time playing SATAC. It's different from the previous competitions because of the weapon restrictions and also because of the weather. We thought that we were going to fly with a low cloud ceiling and rain when we first joined the server, and that would be very challenging.
Yeah, but some of the maps are much worse than others. This is one of the okay ones. It's raining, but it's not awful.
Yeah, and this one, yes, raining. It has a little bit of fog, and during the evening, so the match can't last very long because it will start getting dark, and well, it's hard to fight without an NVG.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I mean, I think we are having fun with SATAC, and we are very happy with our first win on the tournament.
Well, both teams, I think, did an amazing job. That was so much fun to watch. You guys all fought so well. Trigger in that last round, managing to get Udachi with the very, very high off-ball sight shot to your right, and then managing to get Gearing in the head-on with an aim 7. It's poetry in motion. How did you feel? Was it stress? Was the blood pumping? Or were you calm and in control?
Yeah, I mean, I was a little bit stressed because I wanted to get out of there because I was against basically three guys, and my teammates were a little bit behind. So the mutual support was a little bit late for me on that time. So every time that I shot down one of them, there was another one coming. So I got stuck, and so I was stressed, and
You
I was
just
trying as hard as I could to survive.
and
And
kill as many as you could while
unfortunately,
you can.
yeah, so I did all that I could. I managed to get two of them, and unfortunately, I got killed by the last one.
Which was Oyoto, who's right here actually, getting you with a very good aim 120 shot in the last round. Good kill, Oyoto.
Yeah,
Uh,
I thought that he had no missiles at that point, but turned out that he had an AIM 120. And for me to notch that one, it would be almost impossible because it was fired from such a close range, and I had to go like 70 degrees to reach the notch, so it would be very hard.
yeah, not easy. How long has HRP been flying together?
I think it's 5 years now. We started 5 to 6 years. We
Okay.
started at the end of the 2019, and we flew many tournaments in DCS like SATAC, TAC, ACES. We managed to win on SATAC twice, and we got second place on the 6v6 Diamonds. And
Well done.
yeah, we got very close to winning a lot of other tournaments like Fight for Honor, TACT, and ACES. And that's it. almost 6 years now.
Well, I'm expecting very big things from HRP in the matches to come. FGAS is a relatively new team. This was their first competitive match. Trigger, if you could give some advice to a brand new team that's just getting started in competitive DCS, what bit of advice would you give them?
Well, first I'd like to welcome them into this environment of DCS competitions. I hope you guys have a great time. And if I could give one advice, well, focus on your team, on mutual support. I mean, it's probably the best thing that you can practice. It's how every team that reaches to the top has a little bit of, team chemistry, mutual support. I think that's what makes the difference
Fabulous.
in the match.
Oh, look, I couldn't agree more. Well, thank you everyone for the tremendous matches. Oyoto from FGAS, if there's any shout-outs you'd like to make or anything you'd like to say, the audience is all yours, buddy. Thank you for flying for us today, and please congratulate your team on a tremendous first SATAC match.
I just want to give a shout out to HRP. It was our biggest challenge so far. It was all I can say is that it was definitely way more intense than fighting our own guys. But it was a tremendous match. The experience that we got, it was like unmatched in terms of training. But we'll try to do better. And
look,
thank you, HRP.
You've got all the makings of a great team. You've got all the raw material. I think it's just putting it together now, and it will all come together cleanly. All right, Trigger, for HRP, same thing. Any shout-outs you'd like to make or anything you'd like to say to the audience? Congratulations on your victory.
Thank you, Asho. I just can say that we are very excited to be playing on SATAC. And, well, we are very eager to know what is going to happen, who is going to see who is going to the finals.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, guys. I'll let you enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Thank you for fighting for us, and I look forward to your matches to come. I wish you a good night, and I'll see you all later.
Thank you. See you.
Thank you. Good night.
All right, guys, that's as far as we go with SATAC today. What a match, with Javier actually managing to pull out ahead after losing the first round to FGAS. What a tremendous, tremendous match. I was on the edge of my seat the whole time. I'm just so excited, and I'm so bouncing up and down with excitement. When's the next match? Okay, let me run you through it. So, the next matches to come up are April the 5th, Saturday. There'll be two matches. The 36th facing off against GGG, and then in the evening there'll be the 51st versus the 179th Dogs. I'm going to take that match because it's going to be really fun. And then on Sunday, we have Honkai Destruction Armor facing off against the 367th MTSO, and DDCS facing off against Griffin Squadron in the evening. Plus, we have another match in the evening that has been rescheduled. We have PTF facing off against GC. So make sure that you interact with all of the socials for the organisers of SATAC. In fact, let me make sure that I can... Yeah, there are the links. So join in on the SATAC Discord so you don't miss any of the competition. Now, if you like my content, I don't just stream competitive matches. I also do DCS streams and flight simulation stuff all over the place. So if you want to catch my streams, you can drop a follow down below. I stream on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and I take any SATAC match I can. You can join in on my Discord. You can follow me on Twitter, and you can subscribe to my YouTube and follow me on Blue Sky to keep up to date with whatever Airshow's up to. Otherwise, I'm going to wish you all a very good evening and hope that you all have a tremendous, tremendous weekend and your week gets off to a good start. Thank you for all the competitors and good night.